There's a part of the Mass that always gets my attention. It's very simple, but it's very profound. And it comes after the priest invites us to lift up our hearts, right? And we respond, we lift them up to the Lord. What we're doing there is we're being intentional about our prayer, because to pray is to lift up your minds and hearts to God, as St. John Damascene defined it. So after this, though, the priest says, let us give thanks to the Lord our God, to which we respond, it is right and just. And it's the directness and the simplicity of those few words that just gets me every time. It is right and just. What this means is, yes, it is right for us. It's just for us to give God thanks. It's just for us to give Him worship and to give Him praise. Why? Because He's our Creator. He is our Redeemer. Every blessing we have comes from Him. And so we owe Him our praise, our worship, and of course, our thanksgiving. And that's what the word justice means. Justice means to render to someone what is their due, right? To render to someone what is owed to them. We think of justice sometimes in terms of punishment, right? You can major here at school in criminal justice, to give to the criminals what's their due, or to give to the victims of criminals what's their due. But justice also comes into play when we talk about giving people in positions of authority over us what is their due, as, for example, God is in authority over us. So what do we owe to God? This same principle helps us to navigate all the people who are in positions of human authority over us, beginning with our parents. There's a commandment, right? The fourth commandment tells us to honor our father and mother. And the reason for this is because they, in their human relationship to us, image something of how God relates to us. They share in the work of our creation. They love us. They care for us. And to the extent that they do that well, they truly do image God. And so it's right and just for us to give them honor and respect. It's right and just for students to obey their teachers. It's right and just for employees to obey their employers. And it's right and just of citizens in a country to respect and honor the leaders in that country, even if they don't agree with everything that they do, even if they don't think that they're very good people. If you live in a society and you benefit from being in that society, then it's right and just for you to give your allegiance to the rulers of that society. And this has always been the teaching of the Church. It doesn't mean that you think that these people in positions of authority over you are perfect at all, but it's right and just for you to respect them. There are limits to this, of course, and there's a hierarchy of authority that has to be understood. So, for example, if a child's teacher tells him to do something that would contradict the wishes of his parents, that child has to disobey the teacher. Even though ordinarily it's right and just for the child to obey his teacher, in that instance, obeying his teacher would cause him to disobey his parents, to whom he holds a higher degree of obedience. And this is what Jesus is getting at in our gospel reading for this Sunday, when his questioners think that they've caught him in a trick question. They ask him, is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar? Right? They think this is a trick question because if he says yes, it's lawful to give the tax to the Roman Empire, they can paint him as a Roman sympathizer. Remember that Israel at this time is under Roman occupation. On the other hand, if he says no, you shouldn't pay taxes to Rome, they can paint him as a rebel. And either way, he's in trouble. But Jesus is clever. He does something different. He takes a coin and he says, whose image is on this coin? Right? And of course, it was stamped with the image of Caesar, just like we put presidents on our money today. So he said, Caesar's image is on the coin. And so Jesus says, well, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and give to God what is God's. See, it's right and just to give Caesar his due. If you live in the empire, pay taxes in the empire, right? It's got Caesar's picture on it. If he wants it back, give it back to him. But what bears God's image? Right? You and I do. We're made in the image of God. This coin might belong to Caesar, but who do we belong to? We belong to God. And so no one, not Caesar, not anybody else on this earth, will ever have the same authority over us, the same demand on our allegiance, the same demand on our obedience as God will. So yeah, give to Caesar what's Caesar's. Give to your boss what's due him. Give to your teachers and professors what's due them. Give to anyone in positions of human authority over you everything that's their due. But never, never at the expense of what you owe God, which is everything. God is our highest authority, which is why it is truly right and just to give him thanks and praise. Praise be Jesus Christ.